Hi there, and in this video I'm going to be putting together my DeskPi Rackmate T2. So I've got a bunch of Raspberry Pis, and I just got a MikroTik router that I'm using with them, and so, or switch actually, and it's all 10-inch stuff, and I'm going to try and build kind of a HomeLab 10-inch format rack, because I don't have the space for a full size regular rack. So anyway, let's jump in and take a look at this stuff. So this is how my Pi is currently set up, just here on my desk. This is my little Kubernetes cluster I've been working on. So here is, this one here is our head node. This here is our network access point. It's running Pi-hole. This here is running Rancher, and this is one of the worker nodes. So I've got some more Pis coming, which are going to form more worker nodes working in this cluster. I decided to put Rancher separate and also Pi-hole separate. I'm going to build some redundancy into Pi-hole as well with another couple of units. So I'll get that set up eventually. We've got some sensors here connected up to Arduinos. This is an air quality sensor and stuff. So I'm going to be hooking up a lot of stuff to this rack, probably my Arduinos as well, and some screens and so on. So it's going to be a work in progress for a while. This is the MikroTik network switch, which I've got. And what we're going to be looking at today actually is this DeskPi Rackmate T2. So let's take a look inside of here. Comes nicely packed. Some instructions here. So it comes with two of these. So this is a adapter which will plug into the side of the Pi, and it gives you HDMI and USB-C. So it'll be on the front of your rack, so you don't have to get around the side for them. So that's quite a useful little adapter. They give you two of those. You've got all of the bits you need really to put it together. It comes with a few blanking panels, some trays for putting stuff in, and it even comes with the screwdrivers that you need to put it together. So this is a 12U height one, but they do them, I think they do 6 and 8 U's and 12, and there's some more trays there. I think we can mount some fans on these, so I do have some fans. We've got some rack mount ears here. So everything we need basically to put it together. So let's go ahead and put this together and see what it looks like. So here's the build so far. It's quite nice. The only thing I don't like about acrylic is it does tend to attract dust. The static electricity things stick to it, so it gets very dusty quite quickly. But yeah, it's quite neat little size here. So we'll start mounting some of the accessories in it next. So there it is now set up. I've got work to do with the cable routing and everything, but it's not actually finalized yet. I just put the Pis on the shelf here, but I have some proper brackets coming that mount these actually vertically, so we can fit 4 Pis in a row here, and I've got 2 sets of that, so we can fit 8 Raspberry Pis. It'll probably take up about this much of the rack, about half of the rack with those, and then we'll probably put in a couple of small PCs that we can run Proxmox on. So that's kind of the idea. And then maybe in addition to this, we'll also put in a router as well as the switch, and we'll use that router instead of my internet service provider router. So anyway, that's it so far. It's quite a neat little rack, and like I say, it does come in a smaller size as well, but I think I'm gonna fill this one up. So it's kind of cute and doesn't take up too much space. You see how it fits nicely in my office. So for those of you who are looking for something compact, 10-inch rack, it's quite nice. The plastic top could have been metal, and you can see it's actually bowing, which kind of annoys me when things aren't straight, so I'll probably do something about that. And what they could have done is put a lip on the inside of this metal here for it to sit on, kind of support it, but in general, the build quality is okay. But I would, yeah, probably replace this, and we'll be doing some other stuff with this as well. I've got some ideas for actually kind of liquid cooling it, mounting a radiator on the back, putting cold water through it, blowing cold air into this thing. So that might be pretty neat. And when I do that, I'm going to need to obviously seal it up properly, and then we'll probably make metal panel for the top here that we can suck the warm air out. So lots of things to do with it. It's just the beginning, but don't forget to like and subscribe and follow along to see the progress. Okay, so to help tidy up the rack a bit, we've got these 10-inch 2U rack mounts that were delivered today, and so we'll be able to mount the Pis a little bit tighter. I'm too lazy to go behind there at the moment and sort out all the cables, but I'll get that done eventually. So let's get these opened up. They're also from DeskPi, same people as the, whoops, same people who made the rack. So it comes nicely packed. Screwdrivers and tools again. And yeah, basically you mount the Pis on these, and we'll fit 4 of them into a 2U space of the rack. So let's go ahead and get a Pi mounted in this and get them put in. Hi there guys, and I'm just going to give a little update as to how the planning and stuff is going for our mini rack. So I put it together the other day, as you saw earlier, and it's coming along okay. I'll do some video of that in a moment. I'm just going to kind of explain what it is I think I'm going to actually put together here. So my HomeLab concept is becoming more refined as to exactly what it is I want and what I want to build here. So I've already got my kind of Pi cluster node set up that you can see running here in Rancher. So it's got 4 nodes. We've got high availability with 2 control planes and 2 worker nodes. We've also got high availability for our DNS DHCP server, which I covered in another video. So I'm going to be adding to this plus some other equipment, and so I've been planning that out, and I've only got 12 U's to kind of fit everything in. So I put this together here. So we're going to have a PDU at the top, and this is going to be a 2-port IP enabled metered PDU. Now 2 outlets obviously isn't enough to power everything, but into that outlet I'm going to put a power strip, and that 1 power strip with 10 outlets should be enough to do everything. And so I've got option now to expand with a second power strip of another 10 if I needed, and that will basically allow me to remotely manage, shut down everything if I needed to, but also monitor power used by the whole thing. Then we've got our MikroTik switch, which you already saw in the video, and then we're going to put our 2 Pi network units. So these are our DHCP DNS servers, which are running Pi-hole. So we have a main and a redundant one. They switch between the 2 with a single DNS, so it's a virtual IP, a VIP, which is floats between the 2 depending on which one's available. Then we've got a small patch panel, it's half a U. Then I'm budgeting 3U for a Minis Forum Proxmox machine that we can do virtualization on. Then we've got a 16 gig Raspberry Pi, which has the AI hat on it, and that is also going to be liquid cooled. So I'm going to put in liquid cooling to that. So I'm budgeting 2 U's for this, and beside it I'm going to put the SSD drive. So yeah, we have a I've got an SSD drive which won't be inside of this. I'll get a small USB adapter so I can sit this on a shelf beside the 16 gig AI Raspberry Pi. Underneath that, then we'll have a PoE switch, and that PoE switch is going to power all of these Pis that we've got down here. So I actually had to order here off of Amazon this from GeekPi. So this allows me to have PoE and an NVMe drive. Now previously I did have the official Raspberry Pi Mi2 hat, M.2 hat. So I've got these. I've actually got a bunch of them still to be installed. But the problem with these is that there's no PoE. It's NVMe only. If you buy the official Raspberry Pi PoE hat, then you've got no NVMe. So the Geek Pi is really nice because I can have both, because I was running out of power. So I'm not going to use those M.2s, and I've got those new Geek Pi ones coming, and that's going to go on all of these here. So these will all be PoE powered off of this 10-port PoE switch. I need 8 ports basically to run this, and then 1 port will connect back through the patch panel to the MikroTik switch. So that's the concept of how that's all going to be set up, and this should just about fit in the 12Us. If I have any problems, I can move a few things to the rear. So for example, the 2 network things, they don't have to be on the front. I could put those on the rear and make a bit more space. I don't have the minis for them yet, so I budgeted 3 Us for that. I think it will be enough. It may only need 2. I was just allowing 3 so that there's some space around it for some airflow. And I'm probably going to take off the cover, so it'll be kind of an open frame. And I'm actually planning on having a radiator with cold water flowing through it and some fans, so I'm going to blow cold air into the actual rack. That's kind of my idea. So now I've put together this sheet here of everything that I have already. Things in yellow are things that are ordered and not delivered yet. Things in green I've already got, and things in red I still need to order. So these are basically how I kind of track what it is I need, because it can get a little complicated when you're getting all these different parts to put this together. So that's how I'm planning things out. And now let's go and take a look at the progress so far. So here's our progress so far. This is the rack mounts for the Pis. Now, I'm going to redo these frames. Either I'm going to have to make 3D printed plugs for some of these additional holes, because I only actually need these holes. And another thing I noticed is they don't exactly line up. There are gaps, so I'd like to close up some of those gaps. Kind of a bit lazy, the design. You know, this could have been more accurately matched to the Pi. And then these holes here, so this is if you have the Geek Pi or Pi Deskmate or something kind of stack on board that goes underneath. This is the plug-in one that goes by the side, but they do a similar thing that plugs into the SPI. And anyway, I'm not going to use it. So these holes need plugging up. And so I think I'm just going to laser cut probably new things for this. But I do like the fact that they screw in, they're hot swappable, so you can hot swap out the Pis. And once we have PoE on these, that'll be easier as well. At the moment, when you kind of pull it out, you got all these power cables. I've got all these power cables going everywhere at the moment, but we'll sort that out. I haven't bothered tidying things up because it doesn't all fit yet. And then the other problem I've got is when the hat board is installed, it has these standoffs on them. You can see these standoffs here, and that's not matching up with the standoffs on here. Those standoffs have screws in, so I need standoffs that have an actual threaded post that I can screw into there. So there's a few things that need sorting out before I can actually put all that together. And of course I need all the other stuff to be delivered. But that's basically the progress on it so far. As I say, these Pi M2 hats that I've got here, we're not going to be using those because I'm going to be putting on different hats. Now this is the M2 hat with the NVMe installed. So the new hat from Geek Pi has the NVMe slot and PoE. So we can get both off of that, which will be nice. Now I have noticed that with the hat boards on, they do run hotter. So I'll just show you what I found with that, and we'll jump back over to my dashboards. So over here in Grafana, you can see the CPU temperatures, the board temperatures. And so this one here, 10.5.5.2, this one has no hat board on currently. And you can see it's running cooler than the other units here, which do have hat boards on. Now this one, 10.5.5.7, has no active cooling. So this one's actually running the hottest. So what we've got here is 10.5.5.2. This is running with no hat, but it does have an active cooler. .4 and .6 both have hat boards and active coolers, and you can see they're running a little bit hotter than the other unit. And this one's running the hottest. This has no active cooling and has no hat board on it. So you can see the active cooling does make a difference, having the heat sink and so on it, and the fans. So that will be added. You can see .2's drop down now. So it's quite a difference. The hat board really kind of affects the amount of airflow and stuff that you get around it quite a lot. So I'm thinking as well, when I mount these, I may actually use a slightly longer standoff so I can increase the space a little bit. But then, they're not running particularly hot, but they're not doing a lot right now. We're only using 0.752 out of a total of 16 cores. The CPU utilization is pretty low. If we started pushing these, I can imagine these getting hot rather quickly. So that's why I'm going to also have some active cooling with liquid cooling, not direct to chip cooling. That's going to be on the AI. But these will be cooled hopefully with just kind of forcing cold air into there. And that cold air is going to come from a radiator which has got cold water flowing through it. So that's basically going to be the setup. When all the other stuff arrives, we can finish kind of putting things together. It's going to be a couple of months project probably, to get all of the parts, especially in the Philippines where I live. A lot of this stuff isn't available so much. So I've got to order on Amazon and it takes several weeks to get here, customs clearances and so on. So that adds a little bit to the delay. It's not easy to just not nip down to the shop and buy what I need. So it does take some time. So that's the progress so far on my HomeLab setup. I'm looking forward to getting it finished. I'll see you next time.